Hello, everybody. We are live. We are live on X, and we are also live here on Facebook. Thanks for joining me today. I just wanted to cover a couple different bills that Rahm, the tax man, has proposed. That would be State Senator Rahm Villavalem. He is from Chicago, of course, and he has proposed two new taxes, which is the last thing that we need in Illinois. The first one, of course, is the per vehicle mile driven tax. Now, this is absolutely big brotherish, right? If you want to put a little tracker on your car and have the government to figure out how many miles you drive every single year and tax you on the per vehicle mileage rate, go ahead. I am not into that. I think it's a terrible idea. And it comes on the idea that we need more revenue anyway for our roads. We don't. They doubled the gas tax in 2019. They indexed it to inflation. So every single year, July 1st, you get an increased gas tax in the state of Illinois. If it didn't happen last year, certainly this year, we'll have the highest gas taxes out of any other state in the nation when you add all of them up. And that includes your local taxes, because counties can put their own tax on it, and the sales tax that is put on top of the taxes. So you are taxed on top of your taxes for gas in the state of Illinois. So that's not enough for them, despite the fact that we have probably $5 billion sitting in the road fund that they cannot even spend fast enough to repair the roads because they don't have the contracting ability to get it done. Despite all of that, this guy doesn't think that we have enough taxes. He also believes that electric vehicles are not paying their fair share when it comes to road maintenance. Now, that is actually probably true. Even though electric vehicles do pay more in your annual registration fee, they pay $100 more than just your basic ICE vehicle. Even though they pay that much more, they probably do not pay their fair share. But that's what they decided here in the state of Illinois. We want more electrical vehicles, we not less. And in fact, one of Pritzker's goal was to have 1 million EVs on the roads in the state of Illinois by 2030. Does anybody have any idea? And I would love to ask this of the state senator, because he probably doesn't know. In fact, I don't think that anybody down there has any idea about any specifics at any point in time when they're making these arguments for more taxes. I'm like, how many vehicles do we have? I don't know that he knows, but it's about 134,000 to date that we have for EVs. It's absolutely not enough to move the needle in terms of road wear compared to the amount that they're paying annually. Now, if that were to get them to $1 million and you weren't getting those gas taxes paid, yeah, maybe you would have to consider doing this. But why don't you just do it in a plussed up registration fee for them, a one-time hit every single year, calculated on some sort of average, then putting a tracker on everybody's car, including people who use regular gasoline. I'm not interested in it, but that's what they want to do. And this guy is leading the charge on that. And this bill, by the way, is still live. It is not dead. They've extended the deadline. It could still come up. It could still be passed towards the end of the session. And by the way, session's going to end in about 30 days. The end of session is May 31st. That's it for the spring session. After that, you have to have a supermajority to pass any bill. Of course, the Democrats have that so they could bring people back at any time to pass anything they wanted. They control it. The crazy thing about this is that, well, let's get to the next bill, and then I'll tell you the crazy thing about all of these bills that Mr. Villavalem, Mr. Taxman, is proposing. The next one they proposed, and I appreciate that the Chicago Tribune did a lengthy editorial opposing this bill. Thank you, Chicago Tribune. I do read what you're putting out. I do appreciate that. This particular bill would be a brand new payroll tax. Now, Chicago Tribune did not do the math, but I happen to do it. And in my estimation, this new payroll tax would tax employers and workers $3.7 billion more. $3.7 billion more. You can't make that up. This guy's proposing a multi-billion-dollar tax hike, and nobody has shot it down yet in his caucus. Nobody has said you're crazy. And the Chicago Tribune, unfortunately, they didn't do the math, but they did give out the specifics. So basically, The state Senate also extended the normal deadline for considering this bill. That means it's a live bill, that there's suggesting that there's some momentum towards passing this. This would be absolute insanity for the state of Illinois to do this time. We still have one of the worst unemployment rates in the United States. Even though J.B. Pritzker put out a press release on April 17th saying, "Oh, we've had record unemployment or employment growth." Even though we did have employment growth in March of about 14,000 new jobs in Illinois, guess what? The larger percentage of those jobs were government jobs. That's where we had a job increase, the greatest job increase. We had 4,500 new government jobs in the state of Illinois in March, and they're saying that this is a big deal. It's really not a big deal. It didn't even move the needle on our unemployment rate. It still sits at 4.8% after March. I don't have the April numbers yet. So, but the economy is slowing down. Let's make no doubt about it. It is. And part of that has to do with Trump's tariffs, but he's after a bigger picture. We get it. We're going to have to wait this out and see. But the economy is slowing down. And at the same time where the economy is slowing down, Villavalum and his Democrat colleagues are proposing $3.7 billion more in employment taxes. Here's how the plan works. The plan would impose a 1.12% tax on paychecks paid in part by the employee and in part by the employer. So it would work like a Social Security or a Medicare tax. You pay half, your employer pays half. And it would fund benefits in a state, boy, this is a problem too, a state-managed paid leave program. First of all, the last thing you want, this bill is so bad on so multiple levels, the last thing you want is the state touching anything that is a paid benefit to you, because you know it's going to be mismanaged completely, whether it's a pension, whether it's those 529 college funds that the state had, the one where you put your money in early and your kid can go to University of Illinois. They had to stop that program twice because they couldn't manage the money, and they had to backfill it with actual tax money to pay that out. So this is a stupid plan. But anyway, 1.12% of tax on your paycheck. Half comes from you, half from your employer. It goes to a state-managed paid leave program, and then workers are given up to 18 weeks of paid family or medical leave each year, plus up to 9 extra weeks for pregnancy. This is just absolutely insane. Initially, the tax would apply at companies employing at least 25 people, but by 2029, all employers, no matter how small, would be affected. The Trib writes, unfortunately, as with all new taxes, this one is all but sure to rise with time. Yep. Consider Minnesota, which is launching its own leave program and payroll tax in 2023. Legislators enacted in Minnesota a 0.7% payroll tax to take effect in 2026. The tax hasn't even hit employers, but lawmakers are already boosting that rate to 0.88% less since then. The Trib also writes, if times were better in Illinois, a proposal like this might be worth considering. They're wrong on that. They're wrong. Absolutely not. This is never worth considering, ever. But given the struggles that new parents face, why don't you give them a plussed up child tax credit? It's especially egregious that many women lacking federal paid leave or job protection are forced to return to work just a few weeks after giving birth or risk losing their jobs. Listen, there's trade-offs. I get it. I understand that. Childcare is expensive and quality childcare is hard to find. But there are other ways to solve with this rather than a payroll tax on everybody. This is insane. Give them a higher child tax credit would be my solution. But times aren't good, the Tribune writes, not for the state's economy or its finances, which continue to be plagued by $144 billion in pension debt and yearly budget deficits. Can you just imagine what this paid leave program would rack up in a deficit almost immediately? It would be ginormous. Then they say there's already a major jobs issue in Illinois where private sector job creation is virtually stagnant. That's right. They're right about that. As of the end of last year, Illinois gained a net 32,000 non-farm jobs since the end of 2019, just before the pandemic. That's a pittance. That's a pittance considering we have 6,172,300 people employed. That's the latest statistics, 1.72 million employed here and we could only create 32,000 non-farm jobs since 2019. Oh gosh. And the majority of those jobs are government jobs. So, this is a bad idea, and Mr. Villivam should be, vilified by his caucus. Unfortunately, they're buying into it. The fact that they have not said, what the hell are you thinking, and shot this down is very concerning. Either, they don't want to be honest with him, or they think it's a good idea too. But you all should know this is their solution to everything, is just simply to tax you more. And this may be one of those sneaky bills that gets through when nobody's watching. So I'm just alerting you to these two bills. Maybe you want to get involved. Maybe you want to contact your state legislators and tell them that you are absolutely opposed to a brand new payroll tax that would I'm telling you right now, if a business has the ability to leave Illinois, they will certainly leave Illinois if they're also given this tax. That bill is HB 2413, HB 2413, and the pilot program to tax drivers by the mile is Senate Bill 1938. Senate Bill 1938. I think I got that right. Maybe it was, I'll have to check again. I think the Villivam bill must have been a Senate Bill 2413. So there you go. Just wanted to give you a little update about what's happening down in Springfield. It's the dangerous month because it's the month where they do start to put the budget together. Of course, this is all behind closed doors. Nobody's really going to know the details of that budget until it's way late in May, right before they're about to be finished with spring session. And even then, we'll only know on our side of the aisle about a few hours beforehand. So there you go. That's your information for today. Thanks for joining me on this Facebook Live.